consecutive wins, no losses as they battle here in Game 5 of the regular season.
I think for the Mavericks, they've actually taken the NBA by storm since the season kicked off. They put themselves right in the mix with the league's top teams when most people thought they'd be bottom feeders.
And I know it's early, Clark, but the way they've looked, I think they'll be in that mix all the way to the end.
Now we'll look at Dallas's starting lineup. Dirk Nowitzki down low with Brandon Wright. Ellis is out there with Nelson. And it's Jefferson in at the 3 spot. Kept alive. Here's Wright. And he uses the glass on the layup.
And you got to put bodies on the glass right there. They just are not getting it done on the boards.
Yeah, they've got to do a much better job of going harder than that to the glass.
Wasted no time on that one. Walker's got his first 3 points of the game.
There's a chance he could have a big game if they don't D him up more tightly on the perimeter.
Kemba Walker, quick, got a great handle on the ball. He's a blur in transition. And what I like about him, he's always looking to push the tempo for easy baskets, and he's tough, not afraid of the moment.
Now here's Nowitzki. A 24-point outing in their last game against Minnesota.
And he did some nice work on the boards too, Kevin. That was definitely a factor in that game as well.
Well, I like the defense there. Right up in his grill, didn't give him a chance.
And Walker tough to stay in front of, but yet Clark, he's become a great finisher around the rim.
Well, you know, you have to be able to do that at his size. He's listed at 6'1", which I think is really generous. He's more 5'10"-ish, 5'11". And he understands that's an area that he has to continue to expand and add to be the potent offensive player he's capable of being.
Here's Nelson following the basket by Lance Stevenson. Nowitzki sets a screen for Nelson. Off the pick. Again, the miss by Nowitzki.
Couldn't convert, but nice little two-man game there.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see them go back to that the next trip.
Butler kicks to Stevenson. Outside for Jefferson. Three-pointer, Butler, and another 3 for Charlotte.
All these open threes they're giving up have really been the driving force of this run.
I agree, guys, and the points add up in a hurry when you start giving up easy looks from long range.
Now, here is Nelson, drilled from 11 feet out. Nelson's got his first bucket in this one.
How about that? Gets it off right in the face of the big fella. Quick release.
And operating on the perimeter like that negates some of the height disadvantage, too.
Here is Stevenson. 5 points in the game. And Charlotte again with the bucket.
I like the way they've played here in the first half. Just an intelligent floor game, getting good shots.
Numbers certainly back that up. They're shooting a much better percentage.
Well, what better way to retire the Bobcats name than to go out and make the playoffs for only the second time under that nickname. Good job by Charlotte last year, and now it's back to being the Hornets.
Hornets leading by 7. Vonleh with it. He's against Nowitzki. Vonleh kicks to Walker. And it's the Hornets another 3.
Defensively, this team is just giving up way too many open looks.
You're exactly right, and to battle back, they've got to shore that defense up, Steve.
It's interesting that the Mavs almost exclusively built through free agency. They make draft picks, but they always seem to have a hand in free agency come July.
And Dallas calls their first time out of the game. Well, Clark, you look back at some of the big names they were rumored to be in on. Like Deron Williams and Dwight Howard, those 2 names come to mind.
And they missed out on them, but they've always been very good about remaining flexible when they need to be with the salary cap.
So a whole new group on the floor now for Charlotte. And the Mavericks will go for a different look here. Tyson Chandler, he's checked in for Wright. Jay Crowder comes in for Dirk Nowitzki. Raymond Felton, he's checked in for Monte Ellis. And Harris subbed in for Jameer Nelson. Just under 3.5 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Harris kicks to Felton. Harris setting the pick for Felton. Upside Felton. Chandler. And that comes off the assist by Raymond Felton.
Well, I tell you what, the post play has been rock solid right off the bat.
Well, that's the key to basketball. Get the ball inside into the paint, either with a pass or with penetration.
Here's Dunleavy. Passes it to Neal. He feeds it to Biombo. The 10-footer. It's rebounded by Dallas, getting their first look of the season at this Hornets team.
Yeah, and you look back to last year, these two teams were very evenly matched. They split the 2 games that they play.
Well, you know, he's not a guy that's just going to settle for pulling up. When he has an opportunity, he's going to take it strong to the hoop.
Here's Roberts, guarded by Harris. Shot on the wing. Now the dish to Dunley. And Neal kicks to Roberts. Feeds it to Dunley. Another shot. And Charlotte again with the bucket. And so it's Dallas with it. 8-point game. They're coming off that win against Minnesota.
That was an impressive defensive performance. The athleticism, the intensity, the energy, really shutting their opponent down.
And Steve, that was reflected in their block total. I mean, they were extremely disruptive. Equal parts hustle, muscle, and smarts.
From deep. And no good trying to get that one. There's the buzzer, and not much scoring at all through the first quarter of play. The Hornets on top, leading by
Sun.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And a look at how the offensive approach has been going here so far for the Hornets.
Now, they didn't waste any time getting into a groove out there. They're dialed in from long range.
They've been distributing the ball really well tonight, too. I mean, a decent number of assists so far for them.
Brian Roberts, coming to the NBA 2 seasons ago after playing internationally, had a great season as a 27-year-old rookie. Last year, with Drew Holiday injured, he actually spent a lot of time at the starting point guard spot in New Orleans.
Walker runs the point with Stevenson flanking him. Inside, you have Vonleh and Jefferson. And it's Dunleavy in at the small forward position. So that's the lineup for Charlotte. Now let's send it to Doris from the sideline.
Well, guys, who wouldn't like a raise of over 17 times their current salary? That's what Chandler Parsons received this offseason, going from making under $1 million a season to earning 3 years, $46 million. And Kevin, Parsons was a steal at his prior salary. But at $15 million a season, he'll need to continue to improve.
Still young with a very versatile game. Doris, thank you.
And Roberts is more of a shooter than a true point guard. A bit of a combo guard is how I would describe him. He's a good ball handler, decent size, but his assist-to-turnover ratio fell off in year 2. That should also be an area of focus for him.
Jimmy Butler, he's checked in for the Hornets. And then for Dallas, Dirk Nowitzki, he's checked in for Chandler. And Jameer Nelson is subbed in for Devin Harris. And Nelson gets it to go.
These defenders look overmatched right now, especially inside.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, 10 of the last 12 points have come from close range, so I agree.
And Brian Roberts, very quick and elusive, but Steve, not a big-time penetrator or finisher inside.
No, but he might look to drive to draw contact a bit more because, last season he was the league's best free throw shooter at 94%.
Butler on the wing. Left side, Butler. Second chance shot. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. Well, the Bobcats then, now Hornets, might have been a little bit late to the analytics movement, but that's going on in the NBA all over the place. And they're full-time on it now.
Yeah, they're all over it. Last season, they had a half dozen of their staff devoted to analytics.
That one misses, so he goes 1 for 2.
And for the Hornets, that's huge, having a bit of a numerical guide as to who to target in free agency because they aren't usually a big player in that respect.
Ellis with the screen for Nowitzki. Can't capitalize on the good pick. Hornets leading by 7. Walker goes in. Here's Vonleh. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
And we know the Hornets definitely aren't as big a player in most free agent markets. That's pretty clear, small market team. They're usually at the bottom of the league in payroll. But they are making the most of what they spend now with their analysis, so trying to level the playing field a little bit. Noah Vonleh seen as kind of a project coming into Indiana, but I think he exceeded expectations. This kid has tremendous upside. Excellent motor. He's tough around the basket area. I think he could be a double-double guy. And his outside shooting provides an interesting wrinkle offensively.
Plenty of daylight on that shot. And that's 10 points for Lance Stevenson.
Well, it's kind of been the story here today, hasn't it, Clark?
Mavericks trailed by 12. Dallas calls timeout. And Vonleh Clark somewhat raw as far as close scoring, but the way the league is going, his outside shooting range might be even more desirable.
Well, you start trying to think about players he might become like. Chris Bosh, Serge Ibaka come to mind. Big, long guys that can space the floor because of their shooting ability.
Charlotte making some changes. Jason Maxiell's checked in for Vonleh. Dunleavy comes in for Jimmy Butler. And it's Hairston in for Lance Stevenson. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, over that last break, I got a chance to hear what Rick Carlisle said to his team. Back to fundamentals. That's what he told them. Specifically, he'd like to see them implement the pick and roll as often as possible. He also told them that he wants to see multiple passes on every possession. He said that was the key to getting the best shot each time down. I'm sure Coach is hoping those changes turn the tide in this game and shrink the deficit before halftime. Back to you, Kevin.
And thank you for that, Doris. Shot clock at 6. Here's Jefferson, takes the 12-footer and hits. And the Hornets lead by 12.
Another open jump shot there. Their defense not putting up much of a fight.
There's a minute 47 left to play here in the half. Ellis, the pass to Nowitzki. Ellis goes in. Nice concentration to hit the double clutch layup. Ellis has got his second bucket of the night.
And with the defense playing that well, the double clutch was the only way he was going to get that ball off.
So often what you're able to do on the road defines who you are as a team, and in the Western Conference where you'll finish in that conference. Lucky for Dallas, they were a very strong road team.
Ball's knocked loose. Here's Walker. He's got 6. Shot is no good.
I'm not sure what he was thinking there. That's embarrassing.
You think? I mean, come on now. Doesn't he realize there's a game going on here?
And it's good. 6 points for Monte Ellis.
Dallas with 23 road wins, as you said, and that seemed to be the difference for them getting back to the playoff picture and driving the Spurs all the way to 7 games in round 1.
Here's Crowder. And it's Dunleavy with the rebound.
Excellent. Really solid job, actually, by the defense to get in his way as he was going up for that one.
Walker with it, and it's Nelson picking him up. Pass to Hairston. Kicks to Dunleavy. Lets it go from 14. Mavericks trailed by 8. Crowder dishes to Nelson, and it's Dunleavy with the rebound. Dunleavy's got his 3rd rebound tonight. The feed to Walker. Pass to Dunleavy. 3-pointer. The shot will not go. That'll do it for the first half. Hornets lead by 8. And time now to go courtside as we send you over to Doris Burke from the sideline. Doris?
Well, Jameer, looking back at this first half of play, what sorts of things need to happen for you guys in the second half?
Well, we need to get stops. The first team that gets stops puts together some strings on the defensive end. I think we'll win the game. And, you know, we have to take more pride in things we're doing. We're doing some things differently, but I think we can play a little harder, actually a lot harder on defense.
Jameer, thank you. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Doris. And we'll be back after halftime for the start of the second half. And the third quarter about ready to get underway.
Stevenson, stuffing the stat sheet, doing all sorts of things. He's got 10 points. He's picked up 6 points from behind the arc.
Now his outside stroke has looked really good today.
On the floor for Dallas. Dirk Nowitzki down low with Brandon Wright. Jameer Nelson is out there with Ellis. And it's Jefferson in at the 3. Ellis can't get it to go.
Not much of a pick there. Unless you're going to get a body on somebody, you're really not going to free anybody up for a shot. Well, despite his 6'3" height, Monte Ellis is at his best operating from the mid-range in. He's a superb athlete. He can slice into the defense and finishes with an outstanding touch around the rim.
And here are the Mavericks now, trailing by 10. They've got the Wizards ahead of them for the next game. It's in Washington. That'll be the second of this 2-game road trip.
Some good matchups out there. That Washington Wizards game definitely worth checking out.
Nelson kicks to Ellis. Shoots it up. And he didn't get quite enough under that one.
That's not a sight you see very often. I mean, he has a great feel for that jump shot, especially when he's open.
Walker the pass to Butler. Shoots. And it's Walker that time on the assist by Butler. Walker's got the lead up to 12 now for the Hornets. Dallas calls timeout. Big part of why the Hornets were able to improve so much last year is they had an identity and Steve, a veteran presence on the team. That goes a long way.
Well, they've had talent for quite some time, but without direction, it's not easy to make anything of it. I just think getting Al Jefferson in the middle kind of tied all those pieces together.
Tyson Chandler, he's checked in for Dallas. Nelson with it. He's picked up by Walker. Here's Nowitzki. Dallas again missing.
And a missed opportunity right there.
Definitely, I think he should have converted that one.
Walker dishes to Stevenson. The pass to Jefferson. And there's the call on Chandler. And some changes here for the Mavericks. Felton comes in for Monte Ellis. And Harris subbed in for Jameer Nelson. Just over a minute and a half played here in the third. Puts up the baby hook. And it's Stevenson missing.
And for the Hornets, you know, hey, they had some low points in the season, but they still found a way to rally around each other and not let things spiral south like they had in the past. Kudos to them for showing that kind of resolve.
6 on the shot clock. Stevenson against Jefferson, and he gets it to go. Jefferson's got his first points of the night.
And they get one to go now after missing their first 3 shots. Maybe this will kick them into gear. Well, one of the dynamics for this Bobcats team last year was they had a lot of veteran presence, so they're able to deal with adversity, get through that in advance, and I thought that really helped band this team together last year, and they went on to make the postseason.
Dishes it to Harris. Left side, Harris. Shot is off. Walker with some nice D.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but in the rebounding department too, Clark.
Yeah, it's been a really gritty performance. They'll have some bruises to show for it, but that's the way it should be. You should feel that you've competed when you do that work inside.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Kevin, there's no doubting Charlotte a much improved defense last season. Coach Steve Clifford said to take the next step, we're going to have to become more balanced, play the same level of defense, and do a better job offensively. We need more aspects to our offense. For one, consistency getting up the floor and attacking before the defense is set. Can they do it? We'll see, guys.
They've added some pieces, Doris. We'll see how they do. Thanks. Here's Butler, and Dirk Nowitzki gets the whistle that time. Both teams will make substitutions. .131 left in the third quarter of the game, and he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. Some good defense in the NBA, so let's check out the leaders. The Hornets, #1.
They just don't let you score. I mean, this is a club that clamps down on you defensively. They play hard, and they really compete every possession.
And he makes the first.
You know, to make the playoffs in the West, because it's so difficult out there, you've got to take advantage of your opportunities against the weaker East, and the Mavs did just that.
Both shots good from the stripe. Most years, if you want in the Western Conference playoffs, you need 20 wins against the East. The Mavs met that mark last year.
Well, over the last decade, the team has been very good against teams from the East, save for a couple of hiccups here and there. Possibly because, being in the middle of the country, the road trips are not as difficult and as brutal for Dallas as the teams on the coast.
4 on the clock. Here's Jefferson. Well-placed jumper from the free throw line. Jefferson's got his second bucket. Charlotte leading by 12. And Roberts kicks to Neal. He's looking for Williams and finds him. Banked in off the glass.
And we're seeing the shots just dropping from everywhere right now.
Yeah, since halftime, Steve, they've been operating very efficiently.
Jefferson setting the pick for Harris. To the wing right side. A 3-ball. That's good from Jefferson on the assist by Chandler. Jefferson's got 7 now in this quarter.
I like the offensive awareness to exploit that lack of coverage on that play.
Roberts passes to Neal. Williams a screen on Felton. Here's Neal. And Wright pulls it down. Wright's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. Felton goes in. And a miss there with a chance to cut the lead to single digits.
Such a solid performance for them inside. Their rebounding has been terrific.
Yeah, that's just one of the few things that have gone their way today.
And here is Harris. 1 second left, and he drops that one in. Harris has got his second bucket of the night. And we've reached the end of the third. Hornets ahead.
The NBA.
And a chance right now to show you our State Farm assist of the game.
Well, today it comes from one of the men in the middle, Kevin. And let me tell you, anytime you get a big man who can pass like this, it really changes the way you can play offense. It diversifies your offensive attack.
Let me ask, who is the best passing big man you played with?
Luke Longley.
The Australian.
Yes, big redhead, good passer down on the low block.
The number 1 pick by the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've got Vonleh. And Stevenson is out there with Gary Neal. And there's Jimmy Butler. And it's Biyombo at the pivot spot manning the middle. So that's the lineup for Charlotte. Nelson with it. And it's Wright atop the key. Wright with a screen on Stevenson. It's blocked. They get it back. Hornets leading by 12. Here's the lob to the hoop. Got a piece of it. Outside Butler. And the foul called on Bismack Biyombo. That is his first foul of the game. Some changes for Charlotte. Jefferson comes in for Biyombo. And it's Kemba Walker in for Gary Neal. And Dallas also making a switch. Dirk Nowitzki, he's checked in for Brandon Wright. Ellis dishes to Nowitzki. It's stolen by Jefferson. Oh, and the jam by Butler.
Phenomenal alley-oop slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Yeah, this is threatening to get kind of ugly out here. Kyle Jefferson, 6'10", over 280 pounds, and he's got a 9'2" standing reach. He's got the size to play center, but hasn't always been a great defender at that position. I thought Charlotte really put him in a good position last year, however, with their scheme, and he was very effective.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Yes, thanks, guys. I got a chance to hear what Rick Carlisle was saying to the team. He let his players know that they've got to do a better job on defense. He said, they're scoring any way they want. We've got to show some pride here. Let's make a stand defensively, get us stops, and get on a run of our own. Do they have it in them, Kevin?
Butler kicks to Stevenson. Just 5 on the clock. From 18 feet away, shot's good by Walker. Walker's got the lead up to 14 now for the Hornets. And Al Jefferson, not the fleetest of foot, but a good nose for the ball.
You know, he's always been a terrific rebounder, and I've said before that rebounding isn't about how high you jump. It's about how physical you are and how hungry you are to get after the ball and timing and positioning. And he's actually improved defensively, too.
Last quarter of play, about 2 minutes in now. Butler attacking.
For the Mavericks, they have really struggled against Butler.
He has 8 points, and from long range, he's hit 1 3-pointer.
Yeah, and you'd expect by the end of this game, I'm sure the numbers are going to look even better.
No good on that one. Clark, you know this. It looked bleak at times, and they didn't finish where they wanted to, but the Mavs did sneak into the postseason last year with a very strong push.
And they took the Spurs to 7 games in that first round. A tough schedule for them at the end of the season, but they fought through it and got back to the playoffs. Very impressive.
Brandon Wright's checked in for Tyson Chandler. Nelson outside. He kicks it to Nowitzki. Right side.
And for the Mavs, when they did get to the postseason, they gave San Antonio everything they could handle, taking them the distance to 7 games.
Well, you knew if the Mavs got to the playoffs, they'd be tough, even as an 8 seed. There was just so much playoff experience on that team that it took a very good Spurs team playing at a high level to get by the Mavericks in that first round.
Walker the pass to Butler. And the layup's good off the glass. And the Hornets lead by 13.
Well, every once in a while, he'll show us some pretty good moves around the hoop.
Nowitzki outside. Nowitzki left side. And Wright with the basket on the assist by Nowitzki. We're in the final quarter of play here, 3 minutes in. And here is Butler. Right side, Butler. Here's Vonleh. Oh, and there's the one-handed jam.
Save that one for the highlight reel. That was a terrific finish.
Yeah, you just got to tip your cap when he makes a play like that one.
Most certainly.
Man, no doubt. I don't know how he powered that one through the defense.
Nelson dishes to Nowitzki for the 3. It's rebounded by Vonleh.
He has not been on his game, and you know their deficit isn't totally on him, but he has not helped the situation.
On the left block, and so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Well, Noah Vonleh steadily climbed draft boards last season at Indiana. A long, athletic big man who also demonstrated college three-point range. It's a rare commodity, highly valued at the NBA level.
He hits the second from the line. And most scout conversations about Noah Vonleh start with his physical gifts. The kid's 6'10". He has a 7'4" arm span and the second biggest hands ever measured at the combine. I don't even think I knew that. Almost a foot across.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Look
either.
at that,
But Kenny,
across.
but the real issue is that he can play. I mean, all of those measurables are nice, but this guy he's a good rebounder. He's got a nice touch, and he can put it on the floor a little bit. So this is a guy that has tremendous potential, Kevin.
Jefferson, that's good.
And so only one team answered the bell tonight. Not a monster blowout by any means, but still a double-digit victory for Charlotte.
And the big difference here was accuracy behind the three-point line, Clark.
Well, they started spraying them from deep, and then it spread out the defense, and they had all the looks they wanted.
And so that moves their record to 11 wins on the year.
And I think this win builds confidence for this year in the matchup. They take the first win of the season series, and you know, that could play a factor the next time these two teams meet.
And that next meeting will be their second and final game of the season series, being in opposite conferences. So you bet nobody wants to get swept even in a 2-game season series. So I think the next game will be hotly contested.
Charlotte calls timeout. They lead by 14. 55 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. And some changes here for the Hornets. Here's Roberts. He dishes it to Biombo. And it's blocked by Wright. And they get it back. And Roberts kicks to Neal. No luck, they battled on the glass but couldn't knock it down. The Mavericks have gone 4 of 7 from the field since the beginning of the fourth. And that one's good, Ellis.
Boy, if they could have had this kind of run earlier in the game, it might have made a big difference.
You know, I think a big reason behind the run, Steve, is that they're not getting pressured as much by the defense now that the game's all but finished.
Now 8 seconds separating the two clocks. Passes it to Roberts. Nelson with the steal.
And nothing you can do to salvage this one at this point. Game over.
Not anymore. Any chance they had is gone.
Yeah, nice fast break from start to finish, guys.
Especially on the back end. I mean, he polished it off perfectly.
And it's out of bounds to the Hornets as Charlotte retains possession.
That was an awfully risky pass, guys. Lucky it didn't wind up as a steal.
Well, it nearly did wind up as a steal, but no harm done in the end. They hang on to possession.
Here's Roberts. And so it's the Hornets taking care of business.